Let us look at another example for comparing two means. So in this question, so you want to test whether the amount of carbohydrates in these two varieties, the mean of carbohydrates, is whether they are different. So the question is at 5% level of significance, are the two brands, are the two varieties significantly different in their true mean carbohydrate content. Okay, so here you have the data. So certainly you can figure out the sample mean and the sample variances for each sample. So those values, they are going to be like that. Okay, so the sample sizes are very small. That's one thing you need to notice right away. And at the meantime, you have no idea about the population variances. So we have to estimate those things along the way. So basically we have to use that method 1 and method 2 we were talking about. Okay, so so the method 1, I was referring to this method 1, and the method 2 is that pooled estimate method. Okay, assuming the equal variance. So let us look at the method 1. So this T method. So here this one, so you want to see whether there's a difference or not. So put those values. So this is S1 square, S2 square, and here that is that. And the degrees of freedom coming out of this complicated formula. All right. So this is 5.7385. So you round it down, it is 5. So get the t-table value with 0.05, that is that. The rejection region, this and that, two-tail test. So it's going to be, so this value is inside from here. So you cannot reject H0 and accept HA, or the result is not significant at that level. So if you want to see whether this carbohydrate for this variety A is higher than this one, in other words, if you want to see this is bigger than 0, so your rejection region is going to be only in one side. Okay, so you don't have the other side. If that's the case, you have to, if this you are using the same level, okay, then you have to look at a cutoff from the T distribution. It's going to be not that. But if you switch for that, this upper tail test, if you switch this one to instead of 0.5, if you switch to 0.025, cutoff is going to be same. But in that case, there's no cutoff in the lower side. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so anyway, so it's you have seen those kind of things with one sample. Is the same method. All right, so for the p-value is, so you need to set your cutoff right on that with the T distribution with degrees of freedom 5. So read that value, the area to that value, area to this one, from here and below, so that from the T distribution, this part is going to be exactly, almost is very near 0.1. Okay, it's coming out of the T. Okay, so this is 0.1, this is 0.1, so this is going to be 0.2. Okay, so read it as close as possible. Okay, so it's going to be 0.2. So the 95% confidence interval, the formula. So in the formula here you are using S1 square and S2 square. Okay, because I am using this one, this method. Okay, right there. So this one is going to be, put those values with the table value with 95. So it's going to be that. So is that. Okay. So from here to here. So again, so if you wanted to use this result, kind of with this, like 0 is, see, in here. So that way you cannot reject that. You can see that. But the thing is that you cannot get this though out of that. Okay. But certainly you can use this result to check, suppose you are interested in checking whether this difference is 1 rather than 0, then you can check it right away. See, if you are trying to see whether this difference is 1, so 1 is, see, 1 is in here still, so you cannot reject 1. But suppose you want to see whether this difference is 5, you want to check whether this difference is 5. So the 5 value is not in here. No, 5 value is in there still. Okay, so suppose, see, even 5 you cannot reject actually. Okay, so like a 10, so the 10 is not in here, so then you can reject, it's not an accepted change. Okay, so it's depend on that, you need to basically depend on that, you need to look at that. Okay, but if that the story is different, if it is a one-tail test, okay, you need to change that. If it is a one-tail test, you need to change that. But I would advise you to do it this way. But if you want to do it that way, that's fine. But the p-value, you have to do it this way anyway. Alright, so anyway, so the method 2, assuming equal variance. Okay, so the method 2, assuming that the variances are equal. So in other words, this method, sigma 1 square sigma 2, the pooled estimate method. But the thing is that here, that assumption may not be true at all, because the reason is that, see that this one is an estimate for sigma 1 square, this is for sigma 2 square, they are way apart from each other. So it's very highly unlikely, you know, so this is true. So, but anyway, I'm just to show you, I'm doing it anyway, okay? But this probably is wrong, okay? You don't want to use this one at all, actually. So here, compute the pooled estimate. Again, this is what you're going to get is most probably the garbage, okay? Because this is not true, even by just looking at it. So, so you figure out the pooled estimate and figure out the sample t by putting this pooled estimate into the variances here and here into the formula. So that will give you 1.55. So here the thing is that this happens, so here the table, the degrees of freedom, n1 plus n2, degrees of freedom, n1 plus n2 minus 2, which is 10. So cutoff, they are going to be from here to here. So they are a little bit different cutoff. So still this value is inside. Okay, you still have the same results as the previous one. Sometimes they are not going to go the same direction. Okay, I will show. Okay, I mean it depends on the data. So here in this case it happened to be the same. Okay, as far as the conclusion goes. But if you change this alpha level, sometimes it might be different. Okay, but anyway, so as far as this part goes, see here, not significant different, so the same thing here. Okay, but the story might be different if you change the alpha level. Okay, so the p-value, so here you need to set your cutoff right on that this value. So from the t distribution, get it? Okay, so two areas, you need to get that is approximately from the t distribution is 0.2. All right, but this is, if this is a one-tail test, you don't have the other side. Okay, just like the way we did with the one sample case. Okay, so here is only one. When you figure out the p-value, you are looking at only one side, either this side or this side. Okay, depend on the tail, the test. Okay, so anyway, so from 95% confidence interval, so you do use the pooled estimate in the formula. Pooled estimate here as well as over there. Okay, but the sample sizes are different now. Pooled estimate is the same. The t-table cutoff coming from the t distribution with degrees of freedom 10. Okay, so this is the confidence interval. Okay, but this result, this may be completely wrong, by the way. Okay, because most probably this is not correct, because see, they are far apart. Okay, but later, you know, there's a test to check whether that is correct. Also, now what are the other assumptions behind that? See, the samples are very, very small. So the initial populations got to be somewhat normal actually. At least this method, somewhat normal, approximately mound shape is okay, but this method kind of need to have that normal assumption kind of clearly. Okay, so you already know how to check this kind of data, whether they are at least coming from a roughly normal distribution. You remember quantile plot? So you can use those quantile plot to normal quantile plot. You need to use the normal quantile plot to check whether this data is coming from a normal, whether this data is coming from a normal. Okay, so that way you can kind of guarantee sort of that the results are okay. Okay, see, if they are far away from those normal assumptions, you can rely less and less on your result. Okay, so here I would recommend this one. So this probably is not good at all. And there was yes, I think we address everything. So if you are using, say for example, Minitab or R or anything, so pretty much you can say if you are using the Minitab, so there's a place to cross. So whether it will ask you whether you want to use equal variance assumption or without it. So you can, if you cross that box, so the program will run using this method and give you these answers. Okay, if you take the cross out from that box, then the program is running with this method. All right, so well, that's the way if you are using the software. And well, anyway, you're not using the software in the exam, so that way this is what you know how to do it. So you need to do this question pretty much this way. All right, okay, so let me do one more example, so that way I need to show you where you can go wrong with things. Okay, all right.